is actually even the opposite of that. This is like the unintended consequences of doing away with them.
Ah. Okay. Sounds good to me.
Well, my locks got tamed, Mitch. Luckily,
Nice.
Tombo logged in and spelled me.
Oh, right, because you're on a server, so that's why the bats were a problem. Like, you can't just, like, stop and wait and, like, pause or whatever. Like, you can't just exit. Stuff still keeps going on.
Yeah, it's not a single-player server. So, like, when you hit escape, does it pause your game for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't have pause.
Yeah, it pauses and yeah, so...
That doesn't sound like a problem at all. That your game continues going when you try to separate from it.
Well, that's what they just released the pause functionality, but it only works in single-player servers. I'm on a multiplayer server, hardcore.
Yeah, so if you're playing this super boring game and you just want to play by yourself, is that what I'm getting, Mitch?
Yeah,
that you
get extra benefits.
This is exactly me. I tried playing with those guys, and I couldn't quite...
Meanwhile,
much
we're at the
interaction.
exact same spot.
It was moving too fast for me, and they were so much better than me. I wonder if I started over, if they were going to start a new world, like with a new update, I think I would do it. It would be better.
I think you thought we were moving faster than we were. We spend so
Maybe.
long in between bosses. You're blowing through. Like,
Right.
I don't know. We're at the exact same spot. We're both ready to fight the final boss.
Are the other guys like Tom and
Tom and Tom are the other guys.
Tom and Tom?
Tom and Tombo.
Can we talk about your role again, Pear?
My what?
Your
House
role in the
tidying?
game. I just
No,
love it.
tonight.
I think it's so fucking good.
That's just some nights. Great song. Tonight I went out into the plains and built myself a safety base close to the final boss, and it was much different than organizing the chests. It was strategic and dangerous. High likelihood of death.
Your pattern armor fully upgraded?
No.
Angie told me I got to run this one by you guys. So she said she wants to get someone to clean the house, and then she knows that I don't want like help in our lives. Like I don't want that like intrusion. So a house cleaner, sure, maybe, but like an au pair or something, I could just never tolerate. Though she would love that. She said, "What if I got like a really hot like French maid?" And I looked at her and I was like, I might actually prefer like
An ugly?
a solid dude.
You don't want to
like
humanize
it's
them.
just like genuine. It's just like easy to get along with and never makes things awkward. That might be preferable for me. And then she laughed and she told me to ask if you guys would have the same opinion. So super hot French maid. No guarantee that you'd be able to do anything.
No guarantee.
No guarantee.
No,
Maybe
I'd only
she's
do it if I was
maybe she's
guaranteed.
not.
Definitely
you know?
write that in. Write that into the deal.
Or somebody that was like instant easy button friend.
This is for a cleaner or for an au pair?
Like an au pair, like a servant.
A servant that walk the kids, cook meals,
I don't
not
think
just
that's-
not just clean the toilet.
Basic house stuff. Yeah.
Service the pipes, you know.
I mean, at this level of hypothetical, I think I'd prefer like a Martian. Something
prefer
from
what?
Mars. Something like an alien species.
You're ducking a little.
Robot. Yeah. Something's up with your audio. It's
Discord.
quiet. It's ducking.
It's
Okay,
Discord,
sure.
man. They keep resetting my audio settings, and it's driving
Tell you what
me.
I want for you, Chad. I want you to have a French au pair.
How about now?
I think you might still be getting ducked.
Sorry.
You mean like so in this would this French au pair be a hot
Hey,
French girl
freaky
or
gamer
like
girl.
a cool
Sub to
French
Prime
dude
again.
that I instantly get along with?
We should start the show. We got subs
You're
coming in, guys.
You're getting ducked, bro.
Yeah.
You're still getting ducked.
Okay, I'm turning that off. Just
Welcome to the Good Guys to Know podcast. Good Guys to Know podcast. Welcome to the Good Guys to Know podcast. Good Guys to Know podcast.
Sorry. I
Good Guys to Know
wrecked all of
podcast.
that flow, as usual.
Good Guys to Know podcast.
Welcome to the Good Guys to Know podcast, a bi-weekly production bringing you information on a variety of topics, guaranteed to mold you into a good guy to know. My name is Gio. It is my great pleasure to introduce you to the rest of the Good Guys to Know.
What's up? I'm starting off on a stressful note.
Yeah, your anxiety apparently.
My heart rate, my
I
blood
love
pressure.
this. I'm here for this.
Mitch, what's going on with that sweatshirt?
Cute little bow tie.
And it's good guys to know we like to start each episode with one of our favorite drinks in hand. As I poured myself on my umpteenth gin and tonic today, I had briefly considered if I had a problem and if gin was my thing. And I think it stems from I'm watching this new show on HBO about the Lakers dynasty. Have you guys seen this yet?
I saw the previews for it. I haven't watched it. Is it good? Looks
It
like
is
you're gonna say it's good.
so good. It's so
I
good.
knew it.
And it's not good because I'm a Lakers fan. It's just a freaking fascinating story. And John C. Reilly is so good. Mitch, you will love it. I guarantee you will love it.
Is John C.
But
Riley
Ian,
the Step Brothers
I
guy?
just finished Drive to Survive, so
Ooh, I gotta watch that next.
Wait, John C. Reilly is in a documentary about the Lakers? This doesn't add up.
He
Fictionalized
played for the
documentary,
Lakers
right?
from 79 to 86.
Back with the short shorts. Yeah.
No, it's fictionalized, and it starts the year that Jerry Buss bought the team. It was
From
in the
Minneapolis.
70s. No, they were already in LA. But they were owned by somebody else. Jerry Buss, whose family still owns the Lakers, bought them, and it was also the year that they drafted Magic Johnson. So
Big
it's
year.
the rise of the Lakers dynasty, and it's just it's so good. It's very much like a time sensitive historical something piece. You know what I
Isn't
mean?
even filmed kind of old timey, it's grainy, or the color is that 70s vibe.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing is that the director is the same guy that did the movie The Big Short.
Ooh.
And so you remember in The Big Short where they the actors would all
Look
of
at
a
the
sudden
camera.
face the camera and say
Yeah.
something. It's that same thing happens, and it works so well for these characters because they're all a little flamboyant and
Is
it's
there-
just
Is it directed by Zach Morris?
I don't think so. What
Remember
are you
that?
talking
Time
about?
Out. Saved by the Bell?
Oh, Time Out. Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Whoa.
Nice reference.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Have you gotten
Anyways.
to the part where Magic Johnson has AIDS yet?
No, but he does have a lot of intercourse, as it turns out. So,
I'm guessing that doesn't end great.
I mean, he's
Well,
still
I mean, it
alive,
ends okay.
so-
No
I mean-
spoilers, please. I haven't seen it.
So back to the gin and
Anyways.
tonics. Do they drink gin and tonics in the show or something?
So,
or-
Yeah,
at one
what's the
point,
connection?
Jerry Buss is he's talking to this guy, and this guy's been drinking rum or something. He's like, "You should switch to gin. It's harder to smell." And I was just like, "Oh, maybe, maybe I'm an alcoholic. I don't know." But anyways, moving on. Sorry for the tangent. Chad, what are you drinking?
I'm switching it up a little bit tonight. This is I kind of like it. It's prairie vodka, cucumber flavored with soda on the rocks, and it is smooth drinking. I think I mentioned previously I had made a mixed drink with this stuff, and I couldn't taste vodka at all. Usually I cannot really tolerate at least bad vodka taste. So I pushed it a little bit farther tonight and just put a little bit of soda in there. Still good, man. Still smooth. So we might have a new winner here. It might be a foray into the world of, I don't know, liquor, like the rest of you gentlemen.
That's probably even harder to smell, Chad. Nice.
Yeah, big time.
Cucumber vodka, is it? I don't know. Are you being facetious? This isn't my jam usually.
I
don't
thought
really know
vodka was always the odorless alcoholic's drink of choice.
Either
Okay.
or mouthwash, depending on how far down the hole you are.
Ugh, that happens. That's no good.
I
No
know.
bueno.
Some-
Gio,
exactly.
if you catch yourself drinking mouthwash, you're definitely an alcoholic. You should slow it down, my friend.
Slow down. Barrick, what are you drinking?
I have a beer.
Eric and I flipped.
Yeah, and I have an IPA.
Look
I have
at
a
that.
Indeed Mexican
yeah,
honey
yeah, yeah,
IPA.
yeah.
I've had the Mexican honey
Hmm.
imperial
Lager?
lager, might be something. It's super strong. The Mexican honey, whatever the other one is. This one looks to
What
be
do you mean
like
strong? Like alcohol content
Yeah.
strong or the taste?
Yeah, alcohol content. The real Mexican honey is like 9 or 10%.
Well,
This
Indeed
is some.
has 2 of them.
Well, now they have this IPA, which I think is seasonal. It's with IPA with orange blossom honey.
Mm.
Maybe you could see that.
that's
I don't know.
interesting.
Any
But
lactose in that?
A little bit more reasonable, 6.8, but still
Kicks you.
kicks you a little bit. Orange, grapefruit, crisp, it says. And who am I to disagree?
Have you guys ever eaten raw, authentic honeycomb?
Yeah.
No, like on a dessert or
At
something.
Gio's house.
Yeah. I mean, we got some we went to like an apple orchard and they had a guy that was selling raw honeycomb. I'd never had it before. I tried it. It was pretty good. The honeycomb gets stuck in my teeth a little bit. I'm not.
What
a
did
huge
you do
fan
with
of
it?
that,
Did you
but-
spit it out or did you swallow it?
No, I just ate the whole thing. Is that what you're supposed to do? I don't know. Wait, I get it.
No, the question was the
don't.
question
Is it a
was
blowjob joke? Is it a blowjob joke?
it originated as a real question because Gio had a what was it? Day after Thanksgiving or
Like
something?
a charcuterie board? Yeah, day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we had a bunch
too.
of you had a bunch of fancy stuff out on like a big board, cutting board type thing, and one of them was like full honeycomb. And we had the conversation. What do? Do you just chew it like those like sticks you would get, honey sticks? Remember those things? I think they were wax
I wouldn't
tubes.
chew those either. They come in plastic.
Now,
Squeeze
like
it
in the
your mouth.
olden days.
Yeah, like the bottles, the
or
like,
like pop
wax
bottle.
bottle type things. Yeah.
They were like wax containers. Yeah. But anyway,
Well, I ate the honeycomb. I could see where you might suggest just chewing on that and then spitting out the comb part. But it was interesting. Jeffrey. to each his or her own. Some swallow it.
Can't
Some
swallow.
chew it
You
up.
can't
Some
swallow.
some
You can't
squeeze
swallow.
it. Some
I don't
spit.
know what to do with the honeycomb.
You never know.
All right.
boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Mitch, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a hop water. I think I had this. I feel like we haven't all 4
It's been
been
a
together
minute.
for like months.
Yeah.
Been a while.
been a
I
minute.
missed last time, and then the time before was just me and Perrick playing Valheim.
Henrik.
I almost called
You
him
and
Henrik. I always do that.
Mitch calls me Henrik, but he calls me Perrick for sure.
Yeah. But this is hop water. It's essentially the LaCroix of beers. And it's what so I think I'm exactly halfway into my year-long challenge of 4 months of sobriety, like completely dry. And this is like my new stand-in for a beer. It's like the essence of hops, and it's you'd think it would be horrible, right? But it really stands in as like I want a beer. I want to have something in my hand that is 12 ounces of stuff. I think I like it better than all those liquors that I tried, those like fake liquors that I tried. Like as far as a drink, because I can have a few of them. Get these ones mail ordered in, but I think I can get them in at like co-op places, so it's like ridiculously expensive for what it is. I think it's like $2.50 a can or something when I get it delivered to my house. Funny story, my 4-year-old was being like crazy the other day when I got a fresh pack of this mail ordered stuff, $45-$50 worth of it or something, and he was being crazy, and I was like, hey, go put all these down in the mini fridge downstairs. He of course put them in the freezer, which I found out the next day when all of them exploded.
Which now that you just said what you said about being $2.50 a can, that was
Yeah.
like a $40 mistake he made.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't check his work because I thought he was bringing down. I said, go put him in the mini fridge downstairs. He put him in the chest freezer downstairs. So Shame on me a little bit, but that was $50
So
down the drain.
was that
literally
spankings or more like emotional trauma? I mean, what was
more
the
just
response?
emotional? Like, how could you be so stupid? Like, oh my god, mini fridge, not freezer. Come on,
The
man.
kind of thing he won't remember the details, but he'll remember the
The
pain.
feeling.
Just the,
I remember
like,
that.
it'll just gnaw at him from time to time.
Oh,
that's
I don't
man,
think
are
I
we
even talked to him
live?
about it. I don't think I even talked to him about it. It was purely my fault for not checking his work.
Did we even have a challenge?
I think that's an excellent question. I was hoping you guys would answer that for me, in fact.
We
I
did.
thought
But
maybe it was a Masters. Was it a Masters fantasy?
no, it wasn't.
Fantasy Masters?
No, we did that.
Do you remember what it was, Perry?
I can check YouTube.
Look,
Obviously, none of us did it.
I think
No,
I
Chad
remember.
came up with it at the last minute, and you
I did?
presented it. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I think I came up with it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, was it a pizza challenge?
Yes,
yeah.
it
the one?
was. Make a wild pizza. Make a super strange pizza.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I did not.
Sounds like we all
Did
did
not
it.
complete.
No, I would like to at some point do that. Does that count?
Partial points.
Yep, full credit. Nice work, everyone.
Oh boy.
Toughie. I will say this was the closest I've ever been to quitting the podcast. Right before, like, today.
Tonight?
Whoa.
Whoa.
You're telling me I was
just
80% through taming a lox, and I had to jump off to
A
come to
lox
this.
with a lox. They're like a lion ox.
It's like a giant
It's like a
buffalo, kind
buffalo.
of thing.
Yeah, closer to a buffalo.
Buffalo with a lion head.
It's vicious.
Okay.
It takes.
What are you gonna
yeah,
do? Ride it? You ride that thing around, or is it plow your fields, or what?
It'll kill things for you, and you can ride it.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's more aggressive than I expected.
Yeah. Well, they're dangerous to tame.
Not very
And
temperamental.
how do they tolerate being 80% tamed? They like that?
Yeah, they're
Good
acclimating, acclimatizing, as the game calls it.
Jeffrey, what
Oh,
got caught
Tombo.
in your craw?
Tombo popping in the chat. He completed the mission. 3 locks are now tamed. So
Oh,
we have
Nice.
3 tamed
Big
locks.
time.
We've got
Now
a
you can
whole
breed 'em.
fleet.
Nice,
Ooh,
Tombo.
now we can
baby
breed 'em.
locks now.
Well, the gene pool isn't super large, but you get something.
Get there.
Now we open up that little walled fortress I built today. Put the locks inside that walled fortress so they can't get out. And Bob's your uncle. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Geo
Challenge.
almost quit.
I
Yeah.
just
Almost
like
a quitter.
I just like am very busy professionally and very busy personally, and I didn't want to do this. I wanted to play video games like Peric was doing. Well, not like Peric was doing, but I wanted to play video games.
You wish.
You want to play jock video games, like shoot 'em up.
Yeah, jock jams. But I'm glad I'm here. I'm having a lovely time so far. We'll see if it lasts the whole hour.
Yeah. I mean, I hope we maintain your attention.
It's going to be
I
fun.
You guys-
like
Geo,
to
it's gonna
say
be
you'd
fun.
be missed. I'm not certain, but
The question is, like, if we didn't have this, obviously we would talk less, but would we talk zero?
I
Like,
don't
would we
think
talk
zero,
not
but
at
I
all?
think zero. The 4 of us, right?
I
we
don't
have
know
little
about that.
things.
I think
Once a
we'd
year,
go
maybe?
a couple months with 0, and then someone would start up a thing, and then we'd do like a
Game
reunion
night
tour or something.
Something structured.
Yeah, I think so.
It needs structures. There's no like spontaneous because it needs planning and structure when you become an adult with small kids and you're in the prime, quote unquote, prime of your career. Like,
Oof.
But I would say we've kind of
When you say
perfected
it like that.
the minimum amount of structure to get us all together at the same time. The same time. Like I feel like we've found the right software and the right amount of structure so that we can all get our butts in chairs at the same time.
I think that's very true.
And listeners, believe it or not, viewers, I don't know what you are, streamers, You play a role in that. Streamers, watchers.
In applying a little bit of guilt, like a small amount of guilt that you're going to be waiting.
Yeah,
That,
I,
you're
I,
in our adventure with us. You may not know it.
I have a slightly less negative
Oh yeah,
trajectory than you guys. Yeah.
Well,
that's good.
you guys know that I've had a negative trajectory previously. I think I've kind of moved past that. I think I'm gonna pull a Mitch and say, you'll get there, Gio. You'll get there to the place where you accept that it's a positive.
I think he's just mad that he has to read Sig Sur tonight. That's it.
Do I have to read Sig
I
Sur
think he
tonight?
senses that. Yeah, I just checked the YouTube video.
Don't quit now. Don't.
I think I remember answering the
We shouldn't have
question
told
like
him.
Begrudgingly.
defeatedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew the answer. All right, okay. Well, before we get to Sig Sur, which I'm very much looking forward to, and I'm sure everybody else is, let's stumble through a main pillar.
Jeez.
He is a little irritable.
Wow.
He's just ornery tonight. Ornery.
I do want to get back to a little bit of our recent roots of like cool Atlantic article that I found and want to get your guys' take on. It's got kind of all of the classic stuff that gets me jazzed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whoa.
I love it.
Wow.
See, we can't quit. I can't quit.
You guys are totally in harmony.
That was pretty cool.
You guys are
That was
finishing
pretty
each other's
cool.
sandwiches.
Right, but it's the concept of, contrarian stuff, which I'm just biased towards, probably to a fault. It's the economic concept of unintended consequences of policy decisions, right, that you think you're doing for good, but maybe aren't that good. So I actually posted this a week or two ago in the Discord chat from the Atlantic. It's by Catherine Page Harden. It's titled "The SAT Isn't What's Fair." Sorry, God darn it. The SAT isn't what's unfair. Okay?
Oh, whoa.
More intriguing when said that way.
So essentially, the theme of the article or the thesis is, there's been in recent years. I think even when we were applying for colleges and stuff, I don't think SAT and ACT were required at a lot of places, right? It was.
I didn't take the
you
SAT.
kind of did it anyway. You didn't take the ACT?
I didn't take the SAT.
Yeah,
Right, I
Luther
think-
required the ACT, not the SAT.
I only took
True.
the ACT and only applied to Luther. That's my story. So
Yeah,
I don't
I
have
think-
much to say here.
I think our generation, which this is 20 years ago now, guys, that we were taking college entrance tests. But I think it was like you don't need to do the SAT anymore, but we still want the ACT. We think that one's better or whatever. So that was ours. But in the previous several years, colleges have started to get rid of the requirement altogether, right? Like you just don't need this anymore. There's all sorts of problems with standardized testing, and then especially in the last couple years, one with COVID and two with all of the focus on inequity with socioeconomic and race. That these tests are designed to keep those people down and blah blah blah. A lot of colleges have done away with them, right? So I think the article starts by saying more than 3/4 of colleges do not require SAT or ACT anymore for admission. That's an all-time high since the beginning of these tests, right? So most colleges you don't need to take this test anymore.
Don't require.
Right. I think you can still submit your score or whatever, but
Sure, got it.
it's gone. So, and I think, what do you guys think the rationale is there?
I hope
And what do you
the rationale is that they've figured out that high test scores don't equate to, productive or successful learners or graduates.
I
hope it's that
suspect it's more about, based on the article title, that people were disproportionately discriminated against because they couldn't score as well. They didn't have access to the training materials, the practice tests. They didn't have all that stuff. So weighting that highly in your admission rubric is unfair.
Yep. And so that's what what because I had thought about this before, read something about this before, that yeah, it's another example of a system that's kind of rigged to help people that are already privileged, right? So things like going to a privileged high school where everybody, just knows to do this and has good guidance counselors, being able to pay for these tests, you know, they're expensive to take. I think they're hundreds of dollars or at least $100 or something to take them. Um, the test prep to get a good score on these things. Sometimes the claim is that you need to take these test prep courses, which of course is not something that someone from a lower socioeconomic situation would have an easy time doing. And so it's just unfair, and we should not be using that as a measure to determine who gets into a 4-year college or 2-year college or whatever. And we also all know the correlation between getting a 4-year degree and being successful in life, right? It kind of goes on and on from there. So interestingly, and so then COVID, of course, was like people aren't going to go all travel and go sitting in a lecture hall with 200 other kids taking tests for 3 hours. Like that's exactly wrong. And so they just got rid of them. So the kind of controversial or counterintuitive part, and what this article is based on, is that at MIT they're turning it back on. They're saying we actually want it back. And so here's what the MIT Dean of Admissions Stu Schmill wrote in kind of a longer thing, but this was the thesis of the kind of the kernel that this article was written about. He wrote it. Not having the SATs, ACT scores to consider tends to raise socioeconomic barriers to demonstrating readiness for our education. So dropping the SAT, it turns out, actually hurts low-income students rather than helping them. Do you guys have any reaction to that, or like why that might be?
I mean, just prove it in a different way, right? Like you end up, if you can't take the test, you just end up proving it some other way by
Right.
extracurriculars
So
or being voted class
exactly.
president
So
and all other things that are.
exactly. So what are the other criteria then that they're going to have to rely on? They're going to have to rely on course load, right? Or high school performance, right? Grades in high school. And guess what? The same socioeconomic kids that aren't taking the SAT, ACT, or aren't doing well on it are probably not getting great grades either. They're also probably not you know able to get those letters of recommendations from their teachers or even know that that's a thing, right? There's all these other things, and not only do they maybe not aren't good at those things, but these recommendations and these things like that are very susceptible to bias, right? If there's some racist teacher that won't write a black kid a recommendation letter, that's way easier to be a big problem than a very objective standardized test, or quote unquote objective standardized test. So the whole kind of point of this article is the SAT doesn't create those inequalities in these academic skills, it reveals them, right? So it's not that the test is unfair, it's that the test is shining light on a very unfair system, right?
So then
Our society.
why don't the universities that love having those tests pay for them instead of the people taking it? Why doesn't MIT pony up for all of the SATs taken in a year?
I think that's probably a really good example, and they go on to explain. Let me scroll down to this part. There's a few studies where I think in Michigan, for a few years, several years ago, the government decided to just pay for everybody and make every high school kid. I can't find it now. Of course, it's a very long article.
In the Atlantic?
They made every high school kid take the test, and lo and behold, the amount of lower socioeconomic students that had great scores and would qualify based on these college requirements went way up. It was like a statistically significant bump in lower privileged students that would get the opportunity, or at least know that they had know that they had the opportunity to go. And that's kind of MIT's thing, is like we're missing out on people, or we're opening ourselves up to even more kind of segregation, or you know, classist and racist bias if we don't have this, you know, SAT score.
I don't know, man. It feels a little bit helpless to me. So they're saying, okay, so there's a racism component, there's a classism component to the SAT, but it's not as bad as the way we act when we don't have that. So you should bring
Is
that back so that we don't act as badly. Well, how about you just don't be racist or classist in the first place? Like, find something that works better rather than regressing to the old
Well,
standard, you know?
I doubt that's actually what they're saying. That
Well,
like,
I don't think it is, but it seems like a lack of, I don't know, attempt to think outside the box in a way.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like these
Oh,
these
no.
standardized tests are the easy button for selecting
Sorry.
what's going on.
Oh no, I clicked an IM I got in Discord, and it I forgot that we stream from Discord. Sorry, just go on.
They're the easiest, most efficient way for a school to select applicants, which really is the same way as screening out people that they don't feel like are going to have a high likelihood of succeeding in their school, right? Because what's the point? Why don't they just take everybody? Well, they've got a brand to manage. They want to pump out people that go on to high performing jobs that then can say they had their training at MIT, so that other people might select them over other colleges and send them their money, right? So they want to select out people who aren't good investments for them, which in and of itself kind of gross, but it is what it is. I mean, it's kind of the reality of our system.
Yeah, it's
So
definitely yeah, it's definitely, your point is exactly right. It's bleak, right?
yeah,
And what this author would say is, yeah, it's bleak. But the real problem is not the standardized test. It's society
Yeah,
that has created this situation. And so throwing out the test is not you being equal. It's actually even
no,
worse than you now treating everyone equally, right? Because
but they
now
are
it's
saying that
all these
they get more benefits from the test plus bias than no test plus bias is kind of what they're saying.
right. Right, exactly.
yeah, okay,
But it's the same bias.
It's just like
it's the same disadvantage.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know. Do they say that in the article? Do they think there's like a wider disparity when you don't have the test than when you do have the test? Or
It must
like
be,
do they
right?
compare?
Yeah, I mean that's why they're reinstituting it. So
So
let me go
they're
find.
reinstituting because they
you
think
know
it
what?
reduces the bias they have, or that it
But
gets them
that's a
better
dumb
candidates
argument.
with the same bias.
That's a dumb argument to like. Why not just select randomly from the entirety of the population of high school graduates that want to go to college? Then you can get rid of all the bias, right? It's like they're
Right.
wanting to like
Well,
look like this shining example of, oh no, actually we're doing the right thing by bringing it back, but they're not. It's like slightly better than the other bad thing. You know what I mean? It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth a little bit.
has there ever been any talk of like, so like complete anonymity, almost like you honestly don't know who, they don't really know who took the test, but like I'm thinking one layer further, like don't let people take a practice test. Like don't let people don't sell books that teach you how to take the test, type of thing. Removing some of those things that are advantages, like basically remove all advantages in order to minimize disadvantage, type of thing.
Well, I mean, there's
Like
there's the
pop
advantage
quiz,
of
pop quiz,
practicing.
everybody, totally randomized, complete pop quiz, and then you'd probably have to do more of them to figure out, like, because there are some qualities that I imagine are like sought after for people who whatever are good at studying or whatever. At some point,
People are
that's
good
like
at taking tests.
Yeah, yeah. So you might need like more, almost more testing, but Just
And that's really what an SAT or an ACT is selecting for, is people who are good at taking an SAT or an ACT.
yeah.
So they've marketed
Right?
themselves
It's a
as being a good predictor of eventual
college
outcome.
success. Right.
But my understanding is that is an assumed correlation that actually isn't that highly correlated. When I
So
was applying
so
for
there have been studies
residencies,
on that.
yeah, go
There
ahead.
are studies on that, but finish your thought. But then I'm
So
going to read a paragraph that talks
this
exactly
always
about that.
sticks in my head because when I was applying for residencies, I talked to one residency director and we were talking about scores, and I wasn't as happy on one of my scores as, I didn't score as highly as what I would have liked to. And he said, you know what? Really don't worry about that. What he said, he cited some study that said that all that really predicts is your ability to pass the next test. It doesn't predict what kind of doctor you're going to be. It doesn't predict whether you're going to graduate from this residency at all. So at this point, we're just looking for people that we think we can train and that have, you know, a certain personality style or whatever.
So
And that's
so
always stuck
so
with me.
so point taken. But what if that guy was a closet raging KKK racist? Right? Would he have had that
Yep.
same conversation with you if you were black? Right?
I assume
But
so.
don't
He
worry
didn't
about the
seem like a
test. That's
closet.
not a big deal. It's not a big deal. You got a bad score on
Yeah.
that. Like, I'm not saying that he probably. I'm not sure he was. He probably wasn't, right? But
Hmm.
that's what this is talking about. And so let me read this and get you
He
guys
probably
reaction to
was.
this. Right. So this talks about the correlation between standardized test scores and at least grades in college. Right. So it says no one should be surprised that at age 18, students who have enjoyed a lifetime of material, social, and cultural advantages perform better on tests of academic skills than those advantages facilitate. And these skills actually matter for students' performance in college. Actually matter more than how wealthy their families are. Right. So there have been large. So it says in large scale studies of college admissions, higher socioeconomic status is not associated with better grades after controlling for SAT scores. But SAT scores remain predictive of better grades after controlling for family background. So let me read that last part again. Higher socioeconomic status is not associated with better grades after controlling for SAT scores, but SAT scores remain predictive of better grades after controlling for family background. So if you get
However,
what's the SAT? 1600 is out. Someone from a low socioeconomic status that gets a 1200 on the SAT versus high socioeconomic status on the SAT tend to get what a 1200 person gets, right? And so that's why this whole article is kind of geared towards, uh, you know, this actually could be worse for someone from a lower socioeconomic status to throw out that data point.
so yeah, I don't want to get down a rabbit
Somebody
hole
from
of
a
arguing a
lower
point that we're not.
socioeconomic status that takes the test and preps and does their absolute best. I guess I would tend to agree, right? But I think the reason they removed it was that that doesn't end up happening. Like they don't take the test, they can't afford the test, all that stuff you talked about at the beginning. How do they normalize that out of it? I don't understand.
They did. There was something about prep.
Sorry, Chad, I
They do
stomped over.
they do say that the higher scores of richer students are not due, as is commonly assumed, which is part of what you just said, to richer students' ability to game the SAT with expensive test prep. Despite marketing claims of test prep companies, gains from test prep are modest at best. Instead, and so this is where it gets bleak, right? Instead, richer students' higher scores reflect a problem that is much more durable and pervasive. The students are beneficiaries of this lifelong inequality and opportunities to learn, right? So even starting at 2 years old, they say, right, that children from lower income differ from their better off counterparts in standardized tests. So it's not just the SAT; it's like all standardized tests. It's a bigger problem than being able to pay $500 for an SAT prep course.
Oh, okay. Well,
So I
Shut
think
me
in a
up.
situation like this, it's important to understand like what's the problem we're trying to solve, because there's a huge problem here of overall in academic inequality that starts at the level of preschool or younger,
Mm-hmm.
may start at the level of in utero. I mean, we can't.
We're in America.
The SAT. What's that?
Yeah, sorry, bad joke.
The SAT can't solve all of that. So what they're trying to sort out is, should we take the SAT? Should we not? Does it cause racist admission policies or does it not? Is it helpful for selecting the students we want to select or not? And so MIT is saying it's helpful.
Yeah, right.
I was just doing a little. Sorry, I was just doing a little digging, and like there are many programs that will allow people to take the ACT for free, to get test prep for free, based on socioeconomic indicators. And like brief research says that it's the bar to clear to qualify for that is quite low. So I don't know.
But you got to be aware that that's available.
For sure. And yeah. But I guess like some of that stuff is maybe not as big of a point as we were making it out to be in the beginning. I do think. Go ahead.
I was gonna change topics a little bit to one thing that the article briefly touches on, and it might be a little bit closer to home for us at the moment with parents of small kids. But obviously this same, the test is not the problem, but it reveals the problem. Trope goes not just to the SAT, right? This article is written because MIT put it back on, but it's all standardized testing, right? And so one of the other data points that they use is a K through 12 school district in Florida that made standardized testing universal among its second grade students. This one's interesting. Saw a substantial jump in the number of low income and black students in its gifted and talented program. Right. So when you guys were kids, did they have like a gifted, talented thing where like certain kids got pulled out of the class and went to some special class for a few minutes every week or whatever? My class had that. They've changed it in my kid's school. My kid's school now calls it talent development, and everybody gets it. There's no like separation anymore for just the gifted and talented. But gifted and talented thing. Have you guys listened to the podcast Nice White Parents?
No, but I think
it's a good listen. It's a good listen. Yeah. It's how some of these programs just get inherently racist and whatever. But before the standardized testing in Florida, right, the program depended on teacher and parent referrals, right, and subjective assessments, like whatever. And so that is so open to bias of teachers and parents that clearly there was a statistically significant jump in when they just tested everybody and see who, gets above the threshold. What do you know? A bunch of low income and black students got into it, or not a bunch, right? Because we've talked about their systemic problem, but more than would have made it to those programs had they not been tested. So I don't know. Any reaction? I thought that was interesting as well. That because I was kind of buying the whole. The whole message of, these tests are probably very unfair for lower socioeconomic people, right? It's an example of how the system is rigged. And so we should throw them out. But I think throwing them out doesn't do anything to solve the problem and actually hurts it, right? It is the thesis of this article, at least, right?
Sure.
So like you picked up on, Chad, the problem is pervasive and bleak, and it's systemic, and it's not just about high school juniors that are 17 years old taking these tests. It's a lifelong problem. But I think what I'm trying to get you to agree to is that throwing out the SAT and throwing out standardized tests is probably not helping that much to
probably
solve that
in
problem.
fact, it might be hurting,
right,
according to MIT.
It's probably a bad sign that I didn't even know that they had thrown it out. Like, I'm so far out of that world.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't either.
I didn't know.
I heard a lot about it during COVID and like that first year of COVID when students were signing up for college and thinking like, man, what would it be like to like apply for and then start taking college online? Like it was very strange. But this was one of those things that like they waived all these admission requirements. Colleges that used to require an ACT didn't anymore.
Here's an interesting kind of tangent. So for my medical license, we have to renew our license historically by taking another board exam every 10 years. And they have recently, so it's the American Board of Psychiatry and Neurology, and they recently offered a new track for that. Instead of taking, a full day sit down multiple choice standardized exam, you can every 3 years read and answer questions on, I think it's for a dual certification, it's 45 different articles that are deemed to be important to the field, advancing the science, etc. It's perfect. I love
Great
it.
idea.
It makes sure that you're staying up on your knowledge, that you're following the advancements that are coming out, that you're abreast of the research, and still, functioning at the peak of where you should be, rather than taking a certification exam that you can cram for, that there's, study programs for, and don't show that you really know what the field is up to at the moment. So there's change coming. I think people are recognizing that standardized exams have long been used for maybe more than they should be. And there are other ways to test and to predict success, right? Or the ability to succeed, which is a whole other topic.
Does the article say anything about, like, so MIT reinstating wanting an SAT score? How about, like, how much they value the SAT score in their entire landscape of acceptance criteria? Like, is it back in the mix, but they care about it a little bit less, or is it back in the mix exactly where it was before, or have they determined that
They didn't go into that level of detail. They didn't go into that level of detail. They did say that yes, it's one piece of the puzzle, right? But the article argues that okay, if you take out one of those pieces of the puzzle of the pie of, like, recommendation letters, extracurriculars, grades, course load, and SAT, if you take one of those pie pieces out, all the other ones have to get bigger, right? And so now I have to weight those things more, right? So
it'd be interesting if they put it back in a bigger piece than it was before, or the same, or smaller.
Right. Right.
The skeptical part of me about this whole, like, colleges all removing this is, like, was it just an economic decision for them? Like, admissions were lower, like fewer people were applying to colleges, and they're like, oh, if we just remove the ACT, maybe we'll get another 20% admissions, and each of those applicants pays a $25 fee or whatever it is. Like, I wonder if once one domino fell, the others were like, fuck this, let's just, like, do it. And now maybe it's like swinging the other way, and MIT is like, God, now we have 20,000 applicants instead of 10, and it's just not worth our time.
We can't even screen them because we have to read essays. All we can do is read essays and letters. We can't.
Yeah, it used to be like,
see the number.
Hey, I got
like,
an MIT.
I
got an MIT. Oh, what was your SAT? Oh, 1,600. Now it's like, I got an MIT.
That makes me...
Like, how? Oh, I don't know. Combination of
Wrote
things.
a good letter.
And I imagine they use those for, like, you take the two ends of the bell curve, right? You get rid of the ones automatically that are too low. You accept automatically the ones that are super high, and then you only have to evaluate the kind of middle group, right?
Right.
But
that kind of, like, the whole premise of this article, like, relying on this MIT quote, kind of, it just feels like there's information there that's missing that's really critical. And I feel like we've hit on a lot of those points about, like, how does that now fit back into the pie? And, like, they didn't put a lot of numbers to it. It was just like, we used to do it, then we took it away, now we're bringing it back, and we're MIT, so, like, who are you to judge us? Like,
they do mention too that, like, MIT might be, like, a special case too, because it's like it's not it's
not
known
the University of Minnesota.
It's known for being the most rigorous and dependent on math, like, very hard, concrete score. Like, you need to be a genius at math to succeed at MIT, right? And so your math score on the SAT, pretty damn valuable. If you're going to go be a political science major at Luther, your math score on the SAT probably not that big of a deal.
Dameron says this is
anyway, but what I think was cool about what you said, Gio, is that maybe they weren't being so noble and, like, throwing out the test to get rid of systemic bias, but throwing it out because it's logistically hard to evaluate things now, and maybe monetarily they were taking a hit as well. That's probably, again, in the bleak outlook, that's probably why they did it, and maybe claimed that it was to get rid of some bias.
Yeah.
Or remove a barrier to students applying.
Right.
Anyway, I thought it was cool. I had never thought of that angle before, and so yeah, it gives me all those things that I like.
Depressing. It really is. That like the conversation isn't about whether the test is a good indicator of a good student. It's about how do we reduce the amount of inherent racism in our system.
Right.
Sucks, man.
Right.
We got a long
It's a
way
much
to go.
harder problem to solve than writing a nicer SAT test or not, or using or not using. Like, it's so binary. Like, and I hope that these colleges aren't saying, "Oh yeah, we threw out that test. See, we're not racist." It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Not that easy.
Yikes.
I just thought of a challenge too. You guys want to talk challenges?
God,
I
please
don't
don't
want
say
to take
the
any more
SAT.
standardized tests than I have to.
You want to talk turkey? Yeah. Oh boy, it'd be rough to take the SAT or ACT again. But no, I want to workshop this challenge idea. It's like a new product challenge, and by that I mean like a lot of times you go to the store, you like buy the same thing over and over. You buy the same toilet paper, you buy the same dish soap. Like all of this is like very the same. What about like just mixing that up? Like you have to buy different stuff.
Okay.
Is this not a good idea? Because like I'm trying to think of something that the bar
it
is
needs to
low.
it needs more specificity. It needs to be like,
I mean, like toilet paper
Like
was a
it
good
was-
one.
Yeah, but yeah. Yes, exactly.
Like buy different
That's-
toilet paper. I don't know why that's
Or like toothpaste.
necessarily related to.
Toothpaste, an
Wow,
interesting one?
toothpaste is the example I was thinking of. That's crazy. But I didn't think it was weird enough.
I mean, there's some weird
Like to have
toothpaste.
something to talk about.
All right.
and I've been using the same toothpaste for 15 years, 20 years, maybe.
For your
That's-
poor little
that's-
sensitive teeth.
That's
Yep,
exactly it.
Sensodyne.
That's why we need some. We need to mix.
We use
it up, Mitch.
Sensodyne. That's what our dentist and our kids' dentist gives us.
Well,
4
2
out
out
of
of
5
4
of them, at least.
recommend. It looks like.
Jeez.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gio is
it's a
apparently
may-
he's
that's a
left to
maybe.
go workshop that idea. Damaran commented and highlighted. Did you redeem some points to highlight that message? It shows up bright red on my screen, Damaran. That's
I
cool.
don't see a highlight.
Or maybe it's
Vintage
'cause you
Mitch, good
tagged
guys
us.
to know.
This is vintage Mitch, good guys to know socioeconomic pillar. True.
Yeah.
Next comment comes off better here compared to when he tried to disprove wage stagnation exists with that literature
That is
review.
a deep.
I
that is
don't
a
remember.
Deep cut.
I need
Pull?
I don't remember what we're talking about there. Wage
Disproving
stagnation.
Wage stagnation.
Something that I'm sure I
I'm-
must have done a podcast
I'm
on.
remembering
Is that
pieces about this.
Is a poor person today better off than they were
Yes,
right
something-
20 years ago?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But what was the literature?
Not necessarily
review part
wage
of it?
stagnation, I don't think, but like well-being.
Yeah, oh
is
God,
something
what's
that
the
I
term we
explored
kept
somehow.
using? There was a term we kept using.
Utils.
Flourishing.
Flourishing. Is that the flourishing one?
Maybe.
That's
maybe.
exactly what I was thinking of. But I don't know what the literature review portion of it is.
Yeah. Who knows?
This is similar to that Hans Rowling book.
JK?
Rolfing.
J.K. Rowling.
No, not J.K. Rowling.
Oh yeah.
The one
Bill
that was on the
Gates
Bill
book
Gates list. Factfulness. It's in my bookshelf right
Factfulness,
there.
yep.
Factfulness.
Why things aren't
Great
as
book.
bad as you think they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I fully admit I have this bias towards that counterintuitive shit where it's
Yeah,
like
there's something in that
I don't know
sparks
why.
you, Mitch. There's
When do you
something
think
about
you're going to
that.
start being counterintuitive about the counterintuitive articles? When are you going to go
That'll be
back?
next
to
These
level.
are so
news?
vogue right now. Everyone's into freakonomics.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it just is what it is, right?
But
Mitch?
some guy's
right?
going to write an article about how Freakonomics is too mainstream, and the article is just going to be like the wealth of nations, like old school economics. It's just
Right,
going to flip
right.
back.
Sometimes a pen is just a pen.
I'm still stuck on this product idea.
Yeah, we've been talking about it a lot
He's
too.
still looking for workshop partners.
That's the one.
What about-
maybe 2012? Is that true? That's insane.
Jeez.
I said it was a deep cut. I
Mitch
think
read like
that's
3 or 4
probably true.
studies to prep for a pillar. Yeah, I mean, I still wake up sometimes nightmares that I didn't prepare. Like when Mitch and I shared efficient market hypothesis, that was like dual pillar. Episode 1, where we were sharing pillars and we were like trying to get show notes, and it was oof. It just
Now
didn't.
we're like, fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
It's awesome. We've grown. You've grown, Peric.
Look at this beard
about-
I've grown.
Yeah.
As long as I don't turn sideways. As long as I don't turn sideways, it looks like a real beard.
It looks full.
Watch
Real
this.
full.
Whoops.
Oopsies.
What's
Oh,
all
did
that
you
skin
cut
doing?
yourself there?
Edges a little.
What's all that skin doing underneath that hair? It's disgusting. I hate it. I hate myself. Let's move on.
You gonna shave that before golf league tomorrow, and you meet all these new people and try to make a good impression on everybody?
I don't know. It's gonna be cold tomorrow.
Let's the swing do the talking.
It's gonna be cold as
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
But don't worry, the winds are only gusting to 40, so it should be
High
fine.
of 37.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like a blast. I'm gonna be inside watching TV.
Ugh. One of these
right,
times
what about-
we're gonna get one of those satellite internet backpacks so we can start streaming from the course. That's one of my long-term dreams. They're very
That'd be
expensive,
sweet.
but they'd be very cool.
What
Moving
about-
on.
Have we ever done a
Still workshopping this.
Have we ever done
Oh.
a tea challenge? Swap out coffee for tea?
I'm not doing that.
I can't do that. I can't. I've already given up alcohol. Do not take my coffee.
Yeah, look, Mitch's
to-
coffee pot. You're the
I need
guy.
to be
Like,
altered.
there's a, I don't know, 60-something-year-old guy at my office who used to have that coffee pot that you have behind you, and he would go fill it up at the community pot, bring it to his desk, and he would just sit there and drink a pot of coffee every day. And that's what you do.
Yeah.
You
He
can
would just-
tell.
Take all the coffee out of the pot and pour it into his own pot and drink it.
Yes.
I
We
mean,
had- we-
that's
Have to
not
get up, that's
polite at
wild.
all. At least just bring a mug and go back a few times.
No,
Stretch your legs, brah.
not him.
Yeah.
I've done enough on this challenge idea. I've hit a bunch of home runs, and you
Oh,
guys
have
keep...
you?
We weren't
New
aware.
toothpaste, I guess, right?
No, not doing that.
I keep coming back to like, what if you pony up for premium gas? Like, do you notice a difference in your car?
performance issues.
No thanks. Pass.
I fill my gas once every 2 months. I fill my car with gas once every 2 months.
You probably
Oh, look
should
at
use
you.
premium then.
Oh,
You're probably a better
I work
candidate.
from home. I don't have to pay for gas. Look at you.
I went into the
My
office
op-
yesterday.
Did you?
On accident?
No, I've been in twice. I started this new job and they're making us come back on some.
You're on a
regular
walk and you just found yourself there. Like, oh no!
basis.
How
Oh,
did
look at
this
this
happen?
cube! Look at this cubicle! What's this thing? Oh, I'm at work.
Well,
Well, what is the product? There's a product. What's the product?
what's another thing we use a lot of? Got to be something that has like frequency to it.
Change our
I mean, the kind of
cocaine dealer?
The underlying question is like, what's a brand item that you will never switch? So like Q-tip, I think of is like, I'll never buy an off-brand Q-tip because they're terrible. So
what do
we
you do
like
now, Mitch?
stumble onto
There's a comment in the chat. What are we talking about there? What do you do now, Mitch?
As a
for
job, maybe?
research for research for pillar?
I'm now a product owner, not a scrum master
Oh,
anymore.
he typed. Okay. A brand that we're loyal to.
Like,
Well, could it be
What kind of
like-
milk do you guys drink? What kind of milk do you drink?
Now we're getting somewhere.
Do you
We
drink skim
1%
milk?
Mayonnaise.
milk.
How about mayonnaise? My wife knows from her like research, her like career, that the most brand loyal thing people are is to their mayonnaise. Hellman's or Miracle Whip or.
I have a good
whatever else
challenge.
there is.
I make my own
I don't-
mayonnaise now. It's extremely. Do you guys have a stick blender, like a zzz? You don't. You don't own a stick blender? Dang. Come
Got a
on.
Vitamix.
I don't like
You can make
mayo.
mayonnaise in a Vitamix.
You can.
I don't eat mayo.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh,
I don't really
goodness
use that
gracious.
much either.
I'm a no mayo kind of guy in my
When I do eat
sandwiches.
mayo, it's Hellman's though. It has to be.
The milk is an interesting one.
I don't really drink
The
milk
problem
anymore.
is there's only... Mitch, do you eat or
All
drink
right,
anything
Mitch, what?
other
Yeah.
than coffee?
Let's try something other than hop water and
Yeah.
coffee.
What about?
Ketchup. Are you guys claustrophobic? Thank you. Are you guys brand loyal to ketchup?
Ketchup instead of mayo. Oof.
No,
I'm
like
pretty brand loyal.
no, like
I'm pretty
Heinz.
brand
Are
loyal
you a
on
Heinz
ketchup.
or Hunt's or a?
Yeah, Heinz. Everything else tastes like garbage.
I think I am not opinionated whatsoever when it comes to. I just pretty much eat anything.
Syrup season. Is it syrup season? Yeah, I guess it is. Freezing overnight and above freezing during the day. That's maple tapping season.
What can be done?
Yeah.
Can be done with.
Make your own
fruits.
syrup.
Yes.
Ooh, that sounds too much work.
Make your own syrup, like from a tree.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Or from fruits.
You know, my kids do it like at all
God,
their
it seems like a
camps
lot.
and all. It's quick.
Um,
How is it quick?
We should.
Okay.
I mean,
All
we
right,
didn't
well-
even touch the last challenge, so kind of like, who cares what we pick?
Well, I think that's the thing. We should pick something we actually want to try. Like we should
Have a
get
chance
benefit
to.
out of it.
Okay, so push yourself to try the new thing that you usually wuss out on.
It's like a new. So back to my original idea that doesn't have any specificity, just new product
Kinda,
challenge.
yeah. So it's like
Perfect,
a sandwich
Mitch.
at
Thanks, bro.
Subway or
I don't support this line of challenge. We did this recently as a bailout challenge, like do a house project that you've been putting off for years or something. And I don't think any of us did that either. We need a new flavor of challenge that engages us again. That's what we need. Punishing doesn't
How often
work.
you guys? How often you guys
No
eat
pressure
out?
there.
How often you guys eat out per week?
Zero
maybe
times.
once.
0. Heavy.
Once.
When I worked downtown, 5 times a week. When I went out for lunch every day. Now I
God,
just
the good old days.
cry in my office for a half hour around noon. Out of my spring cleaning.
We have done
cleaning's
spring-
good. We did garage one year. Like I
We have
could use
done a
one of those.
garage
I could
clean out,
use
which I
that.
could do again.
I got a baby coming here in 3 weeks or so. I need some space.
Holy shit, you do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's happening.
I'm good with. I could take on a spring cleaning challenge.
I remember the garage cleaning challenge though, and you guys you don't own anything. It's like Mitch sent a picture of, I rehung my broom, and it was like a indoor broom. It wasn't even a garage broom.
How about
Eric's so fancy. He's got different brooms for different parts of his mansion.
How about a spring cleaning before and after picture again? It's a
All right.
repeat of a challenge we did a few years ago, but do a before and after, and we'll talk about the before and afters.
Okay,
that's it.
Voters,
Good one,
or listeners will
claustrophobic.
vote.
Thank you.
That's a great one. Ooh, gardening. That's
All
another
right.
good one too. Hard to measure in 2 weeks though. Maybe
Sixer.
6 or
Sir. What
Any
happened
listeners?
last week?
Geo reads.
Peric and I
crushed.
think each got some
You went
points.
to town on it. I think
We got
you guys
5 of
missed
6
one question
points.
between you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bad week to read.
I think
So-
Peric got 3 and I got 2. Is that possible?
Yeah, I'm at 6. Gio's at 5. Chad's at 3. and Mitch is at 2,
Okay.
and listeners
we
are
gotta
at
get on
1.
it.
We don't have
We
okay.
gotta
So
get on it.
listeners are only at 1 because nobody ever joins anymore. So if you guys are okay with that,
Boo.
stick with it. Otherwise, hop in the Discord
Boo.
lounge channel. I will bring you in.
I'm going to give people just a second.
Yeah. Normally, this is when we would talk about the challenge.
That's true. What are you gonna clean out?
Garage, for sure. Oh, we got so many bikes and
I think
scooters
so,
and
too.
oh my gosh.
Mine might be underneath our stairs.
So
Kids
Harry
have
can get
absolutely
out.
destroyed it. There's like chairs like with the legs up, sticking out. Like it's bad.
I'm gonna do garage. We're gonna be moving in this coming fall, so I've got some cleaning out of the garage to do. So that'll work.
Is there anybody here?
Nobody's here. Let me just make an invite. Just I don't know. Maybe there are people listening that don't have the Discord. Oh,
Maybe nobody's listening.
I'm so ripe for I don't know if you guys are on Reddit anymore, but there's that live stream fail where like people do stuff. There's a lot of stupid stuff, but there are other things where people like pull up their bank account while they're streaming and they think they're not showing and everybody sees.
Oops.
Classic. Like it's hard to remember all that stuff.
They're porn tabs or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mine was just like I was scrolling through my list of Discord friends. But Discord is nice. They have streamer mode, so when Discord knows that you also have streaming software running, it I don't know if you guys have noticed this about Discord like usernames. Well, there's a number at the end of your username. So like when you look at Discord right now, at my username it says my username and then a number after it, but if you're streaming it removes the number, which makes it impossible for like people to friend you. Anyway, it's just like a safety thing that Discord has, but nothing else has it. The internet, like Firefox doesn't have streamer mode. So whatever you show is out there. All right, we got nobody.
All right, let's roll.
Good.
All right, I'm trying to figure out which question to read. Or which card to read.
I disagree with both of those statements.
Yeah.
Well, I just like
card and read
I have a bunch of them that I've done before, so I want to redo one. Is the thing I'm trying to avoid. Okay. First question: what Indiana town lures visitors to Christmas Lake Village and
Indianapolis.
Frosty's?
Mitch.
Perrick.
Mitch.
Mitch?
Indianapolis.
Perrick.
No, Perrick.
Erie.
No. What
Please finish the
Indiana
question.
town lures visitors to Christmas Lake Village and Frosty's Fun Center?
Is it a multiple choice question?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna say North Pole, Indiana.
Good guess. The answer was Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, Indiana.
Evidently.
North Pole makes more sense.
What
Who names their town Santa Claus?
What 2001 action movie did Simon Wiesenthal Center, that's a full name, Simon Wiesenthal Center, accuse of accessorizing its heroine with an SS belt buckle?
Whoa.
Mitch.
Perrick.
Mitch?
Spider Woman.
No. Perrick?
Boy, I can't remember movies that old. Hunger Games.
No.
When did that come out?
2000.
Late 2000.
10.
2007 or something.
Yeah, okay.
Here, Pete.
What 2001 action movie did Simon Wiesenthal Center accuse of accessorizing its heroine with an SS belt buckle?
I don't know. Xena Warrior Princess.
No, good guess. The answer
Tomb
was
Raider.
Laura Croft, Tomb Raider. Yeah.
Lara
So
Croft.
close.
Lara.
Oh, Lara. Sorry. You're right,
Jeez.
Lara. What brand didn't anticipate paying a $180,000 fine for underfilling its ketchup bottles in
Mitch.
2000? Chad is first.
Hunts.
No. Mitch.
Heinz.
Heinz is correct. Nicely done. That was in
Yeah,
2001. Good job, Mitch. Next question. Whose brain languished in Tupperware during Michael Paternitty's cross-country drive in a Buick, as
Chad.
chronicled? Chad.
Einstein's.
That's correct.
Wow.
As
Wow.
chronicled in Driving Mr. Albert.
Oh, jeez. What a great early
Einstein.
buzzing, Chad.
Big time. Big time.
Wow.
2 more left. Here we go. How cold is it when the thermometer reads the same Fahrenheit
Peric.
and Celsius?
You didn't even need to keep reading. -40 degrees.
That is correct. That was also a multiple choice.
-40 degrees what?
Good one, Chad. Do you guys know how to
Nicely done,
convert
Peric.
Fahrenheit to Celsius quickly? No, it's not.
Just
Without
only when it's
mental math? No.
-40.
Mental math. We'll replay that episode soon. It was a good one.
What do you do?
Double it.
If it's -40, it's -40.
Double minus 10%? Is that the one?
Double it, subtract 10%, and then add 32.
Okay, last question. How many Bears games did Walter Payton miss during his 13-year? Mitch.
0.
No.
Peric.
Peric.
It's definitely multiple choice. I know I'm buzzing in early. I know it's multiple choice. I'm going to say 2.
No. Chad, would you like me to finish the question?
Mm-hmm.
How many Bears games did Walter Payton miss during his 13-year NFL career?
Zero.
Oh, that's funny. I don't know if you guys can see that spit, but I literally spit out beer all over my wall on camera.
Oh, you're trying not to get the last question right.
Yeah, so now Peric has to
just
read
real-
next week because he's the
I
leader.
just realized it.
I-
Now
I-
wanna
Joke's
take back
on
my
you.
reaction.
So it's 1 is the
Yeah,
answer then.
I needed to pick a number that was absolutely not correct,
Wow,
or just not
okay.
answer, I guess.
The answer was 1.
You went from giant idiot to just lazy genius.
Partial. I'll take that. That's a significant improvement.
Yeah, kind of. Depends who you ask. All right, I should have guessed 1. I got crafty and guessed 2. Then I would have had a little more separation. So I'm at 7, Gio's at 5, Chad is at 4, Mitch is at 3, the listeners are at 1.
And Peric's reading next week.
And I am reading.
It's anyone's game.
Big time.
Yeah. I like this format and I hate this format.
I definitely like this format.
It was a good change. I'm
It
glad that Gio gets in on this now.
significantly punishes sports knowledge, like to the point where
Ooh.
we shouldn't read it in the same order. Like
Interesting.
it just significantly like
Okay.
in a Trivial Pursuit Genius Edition card. I would say you answer the last question correctly like 10 times more often than any of the others.
Yeah, but
So the fact
let's require it be read randomly.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's a
randomizes
bad
it.
thing. I'm just saying that's what we've got. Is like, you'll get some like, who's the greatest golfer of all time? And it's like a card from 1980. And you're just not going to answer it. Game, I don't know. I think I'm just going to take a hard line of I will never do what Chad just did. That's how
You don't
I'll
have to
live with
agonize
myself.
over it.
Yeah.
I think
might
it's
get-
probably...
I think
Yeah.
that'll bite you. But go
We'll
ahead.
see. Yeah, I think I'd be much happier.
I think I think I'm going to make that decision based on how that round went. If I already scored 2 points that round, I'm going to call it good and not answer. But if I'm not on the board yet, I need to get a point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'll
but
try to
then you're
answer it.
sacrificing any points next week. That's the problem.
Yeah, but you're not guaranteed a point. It's
Yeah.
not like you're guaranteed a point.
No, but if your goal is to earn a point, is it worth it to earn that point and lose 5 chances next week to earn a point? I guess
Might
it just
be,
depends on how
yes.
confident you are.
That depends on how many points you get per week.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we'll never know. We could never track such things. Average points scored per week. What do we do now?
Do we
Last
still do
week-
Gardic or are we over
Last
that?
week you skipped and people were mad.
All right,
If I-
people are mad. We can run it. We can
Let's
run
do
it.
Gardic.
They were
are
so
we
mad.
running?
I got hate mail. Tons of it.
Let's Gardic it up.
How
How do we do that again? Just go into good guy? Oh no, Gardic.
Let's go into Gardic.
Can I do that on stream here? I forget what I do exactly.
How do we get this
Gardic.
game started?
Gardic, and then I gotta go to.
Can we like call people to it or no?
Oh boy, oh boy. What am I doing?
Is
There
it
we go.
G.re. Is it what's the
G.restart.
command
Oh.
to make it?
We tried G.restart. This is what happened. G.restart doesn't work anymore. Tim, you're here. We actually need Colin. I think he's
Yeah,
got some work to do on the bot. Truth be told.
Well, why don't we go to someone else's stream? What do we call that again?
Raid.
Pandy
Why don't we
raid.
raid?
All right, let me go back.
Welcome to the Good Guys to Know podcast. Welcome to the
Oh my gosh. You guys can't hear all the mayhem going on. All right, you guys are just going to tell me. I'm not even going to look. /raid. You just give me a name.
Oh,
Like an actual name or just anything? Anything.
Ugly duckling.
Somebody live on Twitch
Somebody on
right now.
Twitch.
Yeah.
You never know how to search for stuff.
P Moneyish is online. He's one of our video game friends.
playing video games.
He is playing Apex. He has one viewer. He's playing Apex with one viewer. Oh no, he's got like 6 viewers.
Office
bots.
Drummer. I've always seen him on Reddit. He's got 350 viewers, but
Office Drummer?
like this
Hollow
guy
Knight?
that, yeah. Like just gets really sweaty in a button-down shirt and tie.
Like me at a wedding.
Yeah.
All right, let me get through this Geico ad. And then I'll raid him. And then I can hear if he even notices our raid with... Oh, he has 2,600 viewers.
Oh, 2,000? Oh, sorry. It said 300 on mine.
We've raided some good channels.
The Dapper Rapper.
Yeah, that's one of our guys we follow. From old raids.
How about Audrey Baby's Chill Music Night?
Are you in the music category?
Mm-hmm.
I remember early in the Twitch days where I was like, you can find a Twitch stream for anything. Like anything. And now it's all the same thing. DJ. It's just DJs and keyboard players. I mean, remember like Bagel Rabbit, that violin player? He's super popular on Twitch, actually, I think. Insomniac Rap is starting. That guy that freestyle raps over whatever you type to him in chat.
Let's try him again. Let's just do him again.
It's entertaining. Like if you're hanging out and you just want to spend an hour. He's got 8 people watching right now.
Only 8? Yeah, let's go get him.
We've rated him before. So, yeah, okay. I'm going to do that. It's definitely entertaining.
All right, later, guys.
Mitch, you're not even going to raid with us. He just left. Jeez.
That's why I was. Oh God. Yeah.
I'm gonna go play some video games.
Guys, just at least go through the raid, for crying out loud.
I'm not even in Discord. I mean, I'm not even in Twitch. Is that bad?
This is a tough scene, guys. AB Mitch is now playing Valheim. I'm not going to do this raid. I'm not going to do this raid.
Mitch is unapologetically himself. It's amazing.
I'm doing the raid. Forget it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to unmute this tab. Thanks, everybody.
Raid it. GG's, everyone.
We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
See ya.
Maybe.